Witch's Point was the kind of place that didn't appear on tourist brochures. It sat off the northern coast of Maine, a narrow finger of black rock stabbing into the Atlantic. The ocean there didn't crash. It pounded, as if it had a personal grudge against the land. The lighthouse stood alone, tall, white once, now weather-stained gray. Its red beacon rotated slowly, cutting through fog like a tired eye that refused to close. No town nearby, no houses, just twisted shoreline trees bent permanently away from the sea like they had learned something and survived it. At night, the wind didn't howl. It whispered. And sometimes, it carried things. Daniel Mercer had grown up far from the ocean. Kansas, flat land, endless fields. The loudest thing at night there was the wind brushing against wheat. His father had been military, strict, quiet. His mother collected lighthouse postcards, places she'd never seen. Daniel used to sit at the kitchen table and trace the towers with his finger. He didn't know why, but something about isolated structures made him feel calm. Maybe because they stood alone and survived. At 18, he left home. At 22, he joined the Coast Guard, not for glory, not for heroism. He just liked the idea of listening, radios, signals, static, voices carried across impossible distances. He was good at it too, calm voice, steady pulse. The kind of guy who didn't panic when others did, which is probably why they assigned him to Witch's Point Monitoring Station, a place most operators requested transfer from within weeks. Daniel volunteered. The monitoring station was small, concrete building, reinforced windows, 2 radio desks, 1 emergency line, and a direct hardline connected only to Witch's Point Lighthouse. Officially, the lighthouse had been automated years ago. No keeper, no staff, just machinery, which made the hardline unnecessary. But regulations are strange things. Daniel worked the night shift, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. He liked nights. Less chatter, less noise, mostly fishing vessels checking weather, occasionally lost boaters, but Witch's Point, silent, always silent. Until October 14th, 2:17 a.m., the hardline rang. Daniel stared at the blinking red light. The hardline had never rung before, not once. He let it ring 3 times, 4, 5. Something inside him, not fear, but hesitation. He picked up. Static, soft, thick, close. Then, breathing. Not mechanical, not distorted, breathing. Daniel straightened. Witch's Point Lighthouse, identify yourself. Silence. Then a voice, low, male, barely above a whisper. It's still dark, Daniel frowned. This line is restricted, identify yourself. The breathing stopped. Click. Deadline. He logged it. Probably crossed wires, he told himself, but when he leaned back in his chair, he realized something strange. The ocean outside was calm, completely calm. Daniel didn't report it immediately. He replayed it in his head instead. It's still dark. What did that even mean? The lighthouse beacon was automatic. It rotated every 12 seconds. Always. But at 3:02 a.m., a fishing boat radioed in. Station, you seeing this? Daniel checked radar. Seeing what? The light. Pause. It's not turning. Daniel's stomach tightened. He pulled up the remote lighthouse feed. The camera showed the tower. Still, red glow inside, but no rotation, frozen, as if the lighthouse had stopped looking. 2:17 a.m., exactly 24 hours later. The hardline rang again. This time, Daniel didn't hesitate. He answered immediately, static. Then the same breathing, closer, wet. You left me here. Daniel's voice stayed calm. There is no one stationed at Witch's Point. Identify yourself. Silence. Then, you answered. The line filled with something else now. Not wind, not static, whispers, layered, like multiple voices speaking under the first one. Daniel slowly looked at the live lighthouse camera feed. The tower door was open. It had never been open before. Daniel didn't blink. The lighthouse door hung open on the monitor. A black rectangle cut into pale concrete. No movement, no figure, just darkness inside. He checked wind speed data. 28 miles per hour gusts. That door weighed nearly 200 pounds. It didn't swing open from wind, he swallowed. Which is point, identify yourself. The breathing continued, then a soft metallic sound, like someone touching a railing. The voice returned. You can see me. Daniel's eyes locked onto the screen. Nothing there. But suddenly, the red glow inside the lighthouse shifted. Not rotating, shifting. As if someone had stepped between the bulb and the lens, blocking it. Just slightly. Daniel did what calm men do when something doesn't make sense. He researched, archived Coast Guard logs, old incident reports, weather disasters. There was one file flagged from 1987, minimal detail. Lighthouse staff reassignment, keeper deceased. No explanation. Just one attached audio transcript. Daniel hesitated before pressing play. The recording crackled to life. A man's voice, panicked. They said automation was ready. They said I'd be gone by winter. Heavy breathing. I keep hearing the radio ringing down below them, but there's no line installed. Static, then. They know when you answer. The recording cut. Daniel sat back slowly. The timestamp, 2:17 a.m. Daniel didn't sleep the next day. Instead, he drove. 3 hours north, the closest town to Witch's Point. Population 312. Gray houses, closed diners. A marina that smelled like rust and salt. He found an elderly man repairing nets by the dock. You remember the lighthouse keeper? The old man didn't look up. Which one? 1987. Long pause. The man's hands stopped moving. That place doesn't keep men. Daniel waited. The old man finally met his eyes. They removed him after the storm. Removed? Silence. Then, the lights stopped turning. Daniel felt cold. There was no storm that night. The old man nodded. Exactly. 2:17 a.m. The hardline rang. Daniel didn't move immediately this time. He let it ring. Once, twice, 3 times. The station lights flickered. The ocean outside the window was unnaturally still again. He picked up. No static, no breathing, just his own voice on the line. You answered. Daniel's blood ran cold. That was his voice, recorded, played back, then layered beneath it, whispers, dozens. You left me here. The monitor flickered, the lighthouse camera zoomed in automatically. No command given, just movement. Inside the doorway. A shape, tall, still, facing outward, watching the ocean, watching the station, watching him. The red light behind it did not move. Daniel did not report the silhouette. Not yet. Because once you report something like that, it becomes real. Instead, he rewound the footage. Frame by frame, the shape inside the doorway never moved, not once. But at 2:19 a.m., it was gone. No walking away, no distortion. One frame standing, next frame empty. Daniel leaned back in his chair. His reflection in the dark monitor glass looked thinner somehow. Tired, he checked something he hadn't considered before. The automated maintenance logs. There was a scheduled physical inspection tomorrow morning. Weather window, clear. Boat available. 2-man crew required. Daniel signed himself in and removed the second name. Morning came gray and windless. The ocean looked wrong, too smooth, like poured glass. Daniel piloted the small Coast Guard vessel alone. The lighthouse grew taller as he approached. It didn't look haunted, it looked ordinary, which was worse. As he tied off at the rusted metal ladder bolted into rock, he noticed something subtle. The beacon was rotating again, perfectly, as if nothing had happened. He climbed. Each step echoed too loudly. When he reached the top of the rocks, the lighthouse door was closed. The door wasn't locked. It opened inward with a long, tired creak. The smell hit first. Not decay, not salt, old metal and damp concrete. The interior was narrow, circular staircase winding upward. Red emergency bulb glowing faintly along the walls. Everything looked untouched. Dust patterns unbroken, no footprints. Daniel stepped inside. The door closed behind him. Not slammed, just closed. He didn't turn around immediately. He listened. Silence. Then, a faint sound from above. Footsteps. Slow, measured, climbing. But he was standing at the bottom. Daniel's training told him to identify himself. His instincts told him to stay quiet. The footsteps continued. One step every few seconds, metal on metal, boots, heavy, above him. But there was no landing above yet, just more stairs. He began climbing slowly. The sound continued, always one level higher, never closer, never farther. At the midpoint he froze. There was a phone mounted to the inner wall. Old rotary, not connected to any visible line. It began to ring. Inside the lighthouse, 2:17 p.m. Daniel stared at it. It rang 3 times, 4, 5. He lifted the receiver, no static, just breathing. And then, his mother's voice. "Danny, don't answer." The line went dead. Daniel continued climbing. The footsteps above him had stopped. That was worse. When he reached the lantern room, the air felt heavier, thick, metallic. The massive Fresnel lens rotated smoothly, casting slow red beams across the fog outside. Everything looked operational, normal. But in the center of the room, there was a chair, facing the ocean. It hadn't been there in maintenance photos. Daniel stepped closer. The chair was bolted to the floor and worn, as if someone had been sitting there for a long time, watching, waiting. On the glass panels of the lantern room, finger